Cameron Milner, who was Chief of Staff to former Labor leader Bill Shorten, said on the show last night that Anthony Albanese's leadership could be in real danger before the end of this year. Now, I said it was all a bit late, a bit too close to the election for Labor MPs to conclude he was finished and have the guts to do something. That said, the Australian newspapers are now reporting this afternoon that Albanese tried to reassure his ministers in a meeting today that he was on top of this Qantas scandal story and, hitting out at the media, etc., etc. And it says that one person at the meeting told the Australian the monologue was even worse than his widely panned press conference on Tuesday. He was accusing the Prime Minister of rambling without having a clear objective of what his ministers should take away from the comments. Joining me is the panel, James McPherson from The Late Debate here on Sky News, and Evelyn Ray, farmer, former policewoman and Sky News regular. James, that's just one anonymous minister, I know, but I just wonder if this is now going south very fast for the Prime Minister.
It certainly is. I mean, this has become a massive distraction when you've got government ministers insisting it's not a massive distraction, as Emergency Minister Jenny McAllister did today. And as you said, Anthony Albanese met with his ministers in Melbourne. And the first point of order was to reassure them, not that we've got cost of living under control, not that we've got energy prices under control, no, to try and reassure them that he's got his Qantas frequent flyer points under control. This is a massive distraction. And it's a terrible narrative that I think will resonate with the public on 2 points. Firstly, Anthony Albanese already had a bit of a reputation for feathering his own nest. Airbus elbow. He loved his overseas trips. He was very preoccupied with his wedding when we're all trying to pay our bills. He buys the beach house. And now we find out he's very partial to frequent flyer upgrades, which all of us try to get, but are always unsuccessful. The second point that will cut through with people is his reputation for being loose with details. It's unbelievable that this thing has dragged on now for almost a week. Anthony Albanese's office would have known this book was coming out, and yet they failed to prepare, to have adequate answers, to have gone through all of his records. They're winging it, and we get the sense in the public that that's what this government is doing on pretty much every issue. They're simply just winging it. And so now, as you say, for a government minister to be leaking details of that meeting this morning to the press, Anthony Albanese is in a lot of trouble over this, and it's not over yet.
Evelyn, I think that's right, because it's notable to me that until, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago, there were almost no leaks at all from this government. It was quite tight. But now there was some last week, this today, not good.
Yeah, look, it's definitely a sign of bad times for the Labor Party. But, Anthony Albanese became Prime Minister, in situations and circumstances where I didn't think many Australians and perhaps even the Labor Party really thought highly of him. So it's no surprise that this is where it's ended. I think those of us with a lot of, I guess you could say, political wisdom sort of saw this coming, and we saw the red flags. I think the problem Albanese has at the moment is that so many Australians are suffering under him. I mean, sure, it's the Labor Party in power, but he's the face of it. He's the voice of it. And so he's going to cop the brunt of all the criticisms. And, people are feeling so much discomfort. They're going to be looking for remedies. And, when it comes to elections, the decisions that happen here could be a death sentence for some people. That's how important it is. So I'm not sure if they'll give Albo the boot. Like you said, it's really close and not much time. But going into an election with the promise of more of the same stuff is political suicide. And I think that's what a lot of people are feeling right now. And also feeling, if you have got remedies and you say you can correct the problems, well, why haven't you done that already? And I think that says a lot for the position that we're feeling, and even people in his own party.
Yeah, and I also think it's not been enough time for a natural alternative to really stand out, though Jim Chalmers sure is making some moves over the last few weeks, or months actually. The pro-Palestine cause, James, it seems to have been an excuse for bullying and giving grief to other people. The lead singer of Radiohead walked off the stage at the band's Melbourne concert last night when one pro-Palestine extremist started heckling it. Have a listen.
Stage and say what you want to say. Don't stand there like a coward. Come here and say it. Come on. You want to on everybody's night? Come on.
Children, will it take for you to condemn the genocide in Gaza? How many?
See you later.
No, he did come back later to finish the show. But James, explain the mindset of the protesters, or all these pro-Palestine protesters, or many of them, who seem to think they can disrupt absolutely anything. They've got a moral right.
Yeah, well, I could sum it up in one word for you, Andrew. Narcissism. I mean, think about this guy. He pays, what was it, $200 for a ticket to the concert. He enjoys the entire show, waiting until the very end, until the encore, before finally making his stand for Palestine. I mean, talk about a hypocrite. He accuses Tom Yorke of having no convictions or principles. If this protester was principled, he wouldn't have gone to the concert in the first place if he believed that Radiohead was supporting genocide. I mean, as Tony Yorke explained, just because you play in Israel doesn't mean you support Benjamin Netanyahu any more than if you play in America you support Trump, or in Australia you support Anthony Albanese. But the biggest failure here by this protester is to forget how all of this started. October 7 last year, it was a music festival. 364 music lovers were slaughtered by Hamas. Yep. And so the hide of this music lover, allegedly, for making this scene at a music festival, forgetting completely how this all started. This person doesn't care about genocide or about human rights.
No.
This is a narcissist who wants attention. That's it.
Well, I think it's like someone complaining to the restaurateur that the food was terrible. He wants a refund after he's eaten everything except one chip. Evelyn, I'm sorry, we've run out of time. I'll come back to you, give you more time next week. Evelyn Ray, James McPherson, thank you both for your time.